All right, guys, I have a slightly time-sensitive video I want to get out to you about this particular brand. This is Dificiano. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not really sure. But this is a model, a new dive model that they have on a Kickstarter right now. As of today, which is July 6, 2019, there's 10 days left on their campaign. I'll put a link in the description to that. I think they have a website. I'll give you that in the description, and I'll give you a link to the Kickstarter. But they reached out to me on Instagram, which is a really good way to get a hold of me through the messenger system on there. And I took a look at their watch, and I get a ton of micro brands reaching out to me, and I really only like to get a few on, and they basically have to have a few different elements to pique my interest. One, the specs. So like this one has, the size is perfect. I'll talk about the size here in a second, but you have a domed anti-reflective sapphire crystal. You have the Seiko NH35 movement. You have the date window down there at 6 o'clock. I'm not real picky on where it's at, but that certainly keeps a balance. You have some nice design characteristics, excellent lume, dive watch, offset crown, ceramic bezel insert, and it's loomed. A interesting take on a beads of rice bracelet. So there's some things here that separate it from a lot of other brands, but then it also has a lot of the elements that are familiar to me that I actually appreciate, that I don't want to be different. Like I love all set crowns. I love 40 millimeter dive watches. Ceramic loomed bezel inserts. Those are awesome. You give me a nice bracelet, and especially like a beads of rice, and then your own take on it. Yeah, you have my interest now. So certainly I'm going to tell them, go ahead and send it over. I'm going to take a look at it. So this is a prototype they sent over, until their campaign's done, and then they'll do some shipping on their products and everything. And I'm fairly confident they're a little behind in their campaign right now, but hopefully, my video and some other videos, maybe hopefully will get out there and you guys will become aware of them. I think the only reason their campaign isn't being fully funded so quickly is I think people just aren't aware. The other element that a microbrand must possess is, on top of having all of the excellent specs, is value, because they don't have the heritage or anything that a big name brand does. So they have to keep the price low for us to be intrigued enough to go ahead and make that purchase, right? So this guy, US dollars, it's out of Hong Kong and all that stuff. So there's a different pricing structure when you go on Kickstarter, but the prices will be converted to US if you're purchasing from the US. So I think it ends up being like around $250. That's a lot of watch for $250, guys. Full stainless steel, 300 meter water resist. It's just it's a great looking watch. Nice handset, applied indices, even that blue inner chapter there, that's loomed. And they have like 5 different colorways, and I think there's only one that doesn't have that loomed chapter in there. So nice fun combination of colors they have, so definitely take a look. The shipping ends up bringing the price just under $300, and that's for worldwide shipping. So for under $300, you get pretty killer watch, I think. So size wise, I got a few different measurements. So if you look at the bezel on this, it actually sticks out from the case a little bit. Very tight finish, even for a prototype coin edge. But the bezel width is about 41.5 millimeter, whereas the case is only 40 mil. I actually spec'd it at like 40.2, so it's basically 40 mil. Nice turned down lugs drilled. The lug to lug on this is 49.8, so just under 50. That's a good sweet spot for this size watch. Thickness, including that double domed AR interior coated sapphire crystal, the thickness is going to be 13.8 millimeters, what I get it at. You have, even on the crown there, instead of just being signed, it actually has a Marlin on there, because this is the Marlin model, is what the model of the watch is called. So you can see a nice applied indices on there, nice polished handset, framed date window, matching seconds hand, really good fit and finish. And like I said, this is still just a prototype. So excellent bracelet. Of course, you have that first section there of the center part of the end link, solid end link too. folds down flat. So I mean, you're going to get ultimate comfort on this guy. You know, some people love this clasp, some people don't. The final product is going to have a Marlin also engraved on the clasp. It has a quick adjustment for there. You have 3 micro adjust also. I'm not a huge fan of this actual clasp. Yeah, you can tell this one's still a prototype, but you can get it to lock in still. I actually am kind of good with like a little more simple clasp. I don't need the dive extension and all that stuff. I'm not a diver. Most people that have these aren't diving. I know there's probably 2% of the people out there that actually will, but and then the lug width here is 20 mil. Bracelet does taper down to a nice 18 mil, and you can see on my 7 1/4 wrist, it feels and looks perfect. They nailed the size. I think that's a sweet spot for the majority of guys out there with you know, whatever your wrist size is. I think you're going to be able to wear this thing no problem. So 120 click bezel. I'll show you the bezel action here now. I mean, it's very audible, very clean. There's like no play in it and everything. I know that's going to be probably too loud for you guys. Sorry. I have to get it back all the way around. Otherwise, if I leave it like that, you guys are going to freak out, right? So, I mean, is over here even... That's probably even worse than if I were to just leave it over there. I'll get it. We'll get it. Okay, there, we're there. Whew. All right, so you have a nice screw down offset crown. I did notice it doesn't really pop, and I think that's because it has triple gaskets. So it's kind of very stiff feeling. So it doesn't pop at all. When you get it fully unscrewed, it'll just kind of stay in that position, and then you have your winding option there, and then the next click is going to be for your date setting. And then, of course, you can hack. And it's very, I mean, there's no hobble in that. Like, you move the whole watch from that thing. This is super tough. So, I don't know if it's, hopefully that'll end up in the final production too, but you can see the gaskets in there. I mean, you have, you know, a gasket in there, and then you have one against the case. So, I mean, this thing is really sealed up. So, really good construction. And then it screws right in. I didn't have to back spin it or anything to get the threads to line up. So, I don't know who their manufacturer is, but it's really well done. You can look at the case back there, and really nice Marlin engraved on there. You know, sapphire NH35, stainless steel 316L, 300 meter, and then the Dificiano name there. So you have some information there. This is number 001. I'm not sure if they'll all be numbered like that or not, but hopefully they do, because it's kind of cool. It's just more things that are added on to the value when you're talking only a $250 watch. I mean, excluding the shipping price. Let me give you a loom shot. Killer loom. And they use C3, a really good formula of C3 loom, and then a couple other colorways. They mix it up with a combination of both BGW9 and the C3. So depending on what color you want to go with or what you want the loom to look like, I think this powder blue with the gray is really nice. You can see it next to the Seiko SKX right here. So very similar in size, you know, a little bit longer lug to lug, obviously, but way more robust feeling than, say, an SKX. So I will say that for sure. And just better materials for virtually the same price. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Dificiano for sending this over and having us take a look at it, and hopefully they get fully funded. As of me making this video, I think they are around $14,000 of the $25,600 that they're, you know, going to complete their thing. So hopefully we can push them over, guys, because I really want to see this one made. I want to see this on some people's wrists. So I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, guys.